Hello everyone. This is a webinar on data science. My name is Rahul Bal and I am a founder of Electron ITS. The flow of our webinar will be: first we'll see what is data science and which process data scientists follow. Then we'll discuss mathematics involved in the data science. Then the platform which we are using for the data science is Python. The SQL for data science. Then we'll see the machine learning and a visualization tool which is Tableau. This is used for the business intelligence purpose. And we'll see one application which is a prediction case. The first thing we will discuss what is data science. The data science involves three major things. The first is your computer science and information technology. Second is mathematics and statistics. And third is business intelligence. As you are looking at the image, when you combine computer science and maths, so that is your machine learning. When you combine computer science and your business or domain knowledge, that is your software development. And when you combine your maths and business knowledge, it becomes your traditional research. Then we'll discuss four important things in this. The first one is artificial intelligence. It enables machine to think. Then machine learning, it uses statistical tools to explore the data. Then deep learning, it uses neural network to extract the features from the given data. And lastly, as we discussed earlier, data science, it combines the IT, maths, and business. Then what is the general sequence the data scientist will follow while working? First is the data preparation, then visualization for data mining, then data modeling, and at the last, presentation. This is general sequence, but not necessarily every time we follow this sequence. It depends on the project and the domain of the domain in which the company is working. Then what is maths behind data science? So first you have to study statistics. In statistics, we will look at mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation, probability density function, and so on. These are the things involved in the statistics, and these things we require while developing the algorithms in data science. Then probability, Euclidean distance, and confusion matrix. So these are important maths concepts which we utilize, which we use in data science. As you all know, this is the general formula, mathematical formula for the Bayes theorem. So probability equation we will use to predict the things, to classify the things between the classes, in the classes, multiple classes. So this is the mathematical formula for the Bayes theorem, conditional probability. Then this confusion matrix we will use, which consists of four major sections. On one axis we will have the actual values, and on the second axis we will have predicted values. As you are seeing, there are four sections. When actual and predicted is same and positive both, then that is nothing but your true positive case. When we are actually predicting something, but when the value is actually present but the predicted value is not present, so that is nothing but your false negative. When predicted is positive and actually it is negative, it is false positive. And when actual and predicted both are negative, it is true negative. And based on these four values, you can find multiple parameters like sensitivity, specificity, accuracy, precision, negative predictive case, negative predictive value. Euclidean distance is one thing which we use in while dealing with the algorithms in the data science. It is the distance between the 2 points. It is a part of elementary mathematics. Then Python. Python is a platform where we can implement data science. We'll study multiple things in Python like strings, tuples, list, dictionary sets. These are the collection of multiple things, multiple type of data. Then we'll look at the object-oriented programming concepts like class, object, constructor, inheritance, polymorphism, etc. Then we'll look at the concepts of looping, while loop, for loop, if else, then functions, and most important, libraries. There are inbuilt libraries available in the Python which we can use for developing the algorithms um, for making the algorithm. The libraries are NumPy, SciPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib. We'll discuss these libraries one by one. First is NumPy library. It is a fundamental package for array computing with Python. This allows NumPy to seamlessly and speedily integrate with wide variety of databases. Then Matplotlib. It is library used for creating static, animated, and interactive visualizations. Seaborn is library for making statistical graphics in Python. It is built on top of Matplotlib and closely integrated with with Pandas data structures. So basically, to deal with the numeric data, we use NumPy for the multi-dimensional cases. Matplotlib is used for plotting purpose, and advanced plotting we use Seaborn. Then powerful data structures for data analysis is Pandas. Scikit-learn is machine learning tools for Python. It contains all the main algorithms used in the field, such as k-means clustering. Then SciPy builds closely on NumPy. So again, SciPy is similar to NumPy, but with advanced functions, with advanced numerical methods, integration, such as integration, ordinary differential equation solvers. For the statistical data analysis, it contains the algorithm for basic statistics. So it is nothing but advanced NumPy. It is kind of advanced NumPy library. Then how to use these libraries in your algorithm? So you have to use these commands for to use these libraries in your algorithms. So suppose if you want to use NumPy in your algorithm, you have to type import NumPy as NP. NP is a keyword for that particular library, and so on. Now SQL is essential for data processing in data science. Rather than we can say it as a pre-processing step. Sometime your data set contains then the duplicate data or some empty cells. So to remove such empty cells, duplicate data, you can use SQL. I'm using one online platform for this. So just you can check in this website online. Let me show you that website. The website we are using is sqliteonline.com. So here you can upload our database and you can check for that. So there is option for uploading. So just go in the import and import your file. So I am using one file, list of orders. Just I will upload that file. You have to type the file name there. The file which I am using for this is list of orders. This file is an Excel file. It consists of multiple columns like order ID, order date, customer name, country. So this is my data set. Suppose I want to process something in this data set, then I can use that SQL Server for that, which is online platform, SQL platform. Now just we can go there and we can select. Suppose I want all the columns from that data set. So I will use star. So select command I will use, and then star from. After this, you have to use that list of orders, which is our name of the file, and just click on run. So when you click on run, you will get all the 4 columns: C1, C2, C3, C4, which is order ID, order date, customer name, and country. Suppose I want only order ID and order date as output, then just you can use C1 comma C2 like this. So the result will show only C1 and C2. Similarly, you can use multiple commands and you can process your data set, and then you can export your data set. You can download your file, and then you can use that file in your algorithm. So this is how we can process our data. There are multiple commands available in SQL. Using that commands, you can modify your data set and you can use that data set for further computation. Basically, data scientists use this SQL platform for data pre-processing. Next comes machine learning. Machine learning, as name indicates, we have to make the machine learn either by providing some pattern, or machine will learn itself by giving some kind of input. So depending on that, we will have multiple types of machine learning. First is supervised learning, where it, it contains the label data, that means past data. The algorithms coming under this type of learning are regression classification algorithms. Then unsupervised learning, we will not use any label data, that is unlabeled data, and the algorithm come comes under this unsupervised learning is clustering. Then reinforcement learning, where we combine supervised learning with unsupervised learning. There is some label data in case of reinforcement learning. Then deep learning, it is a type of machine learning. But what is the difference between deep learning and machine learning is, in machine learning we provide features manually to the algorithm, while in case of deep learning we use neural network to extract the features. Again, there are multiple types of deep learning. When the input is numbers, it is called as artificial neural network. When the input is images, it is called as concurrent neural network. And when input is in form of time series data, then it is recurrent neural network. So when the input is images, it is convolutional neural network. The platforms we are using for deep learning are TensorFlow, Keras, and PyTorch. Then natural language processing. The artificial intelligence deal with human language, sentiment analysis, chatbot, speech recognition, spell check, keyword search. So this is again a type of machine learning, but we are dealing with the human behavior in case of natural language processing. So these all things we have to use in data science as a part of data science project. Then in short, I will discuss about deep learning. For the character recognition, for the numeric number recognition, we use multiple layers. So here this is called as input layer, then these layers are hidden layers, and this is output layer. So here we are converting the pixels into the neurons, and then again multiple neurons, and we will use weighted sum for these neurons, and then decoding at the output layer to decode that number. So we'll discuss this in detail in our separate course of deep learning. Natural language processing is one area of machine learning, but here we deal with human behavior. There are multiple concepts there in natural language processing, like tokenization, stemming, lemmatization, POS tagging. So what is tokenization? It is a division of the sentence into words or the paragraph into sentences or the words into letters. Then stemming. It is normalization of words into its base form or root form. Like mentioning can be used as a mention, storing can be used as a store. So to extract the base form of the word, we use stemming. But after stemming, it is not necessary that we will get pure English word. You may get a different word which is not used in general English language or general language. Lemmatization is similar to stemming, but it creates the normal words, the normal English words like going, gone, and went. These three words after lemmatization will result into a single word called go. But it is a pure English word, English language word. So that is the difference between stemming and lemmatization. Then POS tag is again important concept used in natural language processing. It indicates how word functions within the sentence grammatically as well as meaning. Word can have more than one POS based on context it is used. For example, we'll have two sentences like Google something on the internet. So here Google is acting as a verb. So it will have one tag like DT, and something word will have another tag like entity. On word will have another other tag. Internet word will have other tag, and so on. Then consider second sentence, which is search it on Google. So here Google is acting as a noun. So it will have another tag essay. So see, the Google in previous case having the different tag and this case having the different tag. So this is called as tagging, part of speech tagging, POS tag. Then for visualization purpose, we use Tableau. It is a visualization tool. There are multiple tools available like Power BI, ClickSense, but we'll use Tableau. Generally, industries are using Tableau for visualization purpose as well as data mining purpose. I'm using one online platform. You can install this software in your system and you can use that software. Otherwise, you can use online platform also. So our online Tableau version is available. I'm using online Tableau right now. So we'll just go in this website online.tableau.com. So I'm just signing in using my user ID. It is not working right now, but you can use this platform for visualization part. Here we can visualize the data graphically, and after that we can extract the features by looking at the features graphically, right? So this is used for feature extraction also. Then we'll check one application. We'll see one application of data science, which is a prediction case. Suppose we want to predict something. The problem which we will use here is a company will the data the problem statement here is to build a model that will predict the salary based on years of experience accurately for the company. Dataset we are using is a company dataset which consists of information about years of experience and salary of its 30 employees. So for example, this company is new company and they have already decided their the salary for their employees based on years of experience, but it is not according to some model, but they want to develop a model for that. And as a data scientist, our aim is to provide them a good model so that they can predict the salary amount based on the years of experience for their employees or the new joined person. So this is the problem. Mathematics we are using is here is least square method, and the library we are using is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. I will just show you the data set we are using, which we are using for this. So here I'm using this data set, which consists of two columns, years of experience and salary, and 30 rows. Depending on years of experience, the salary is already decided by that company. So this is actual data. Then we are using Python for this prediction purpose. So I have already written a code. I will just explain this code. The first step is importing the libraries. Now the libraries we are using here are the NumPy, Matplotlib, and Pandas. So as I discussed earlier, we have to use these commands: import, then name of the library, then keyword. So import NumPy as NP, and similarly import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, import pandas as PD. So using these three commands, we are importing the libraries. Then second step is importing the dataset. We are using one variable dataset, and we are using this pandas libraries to import that dataset. So pandas library is used for importing the dataset. This is the function of that library. Using this command pd dot read underscore csv and the name of the file. So here we are using Excel file or .csv file as our dataset. So I am using read underscore csv. So this file I am using read underscore csv salary underscore data file. Then x and y. X indicates the input, y indicates output. Now what is input and what is output in our case? Years of experience is x, which is input, and salary is y, which is output. Again, you have to remember in Python, the column number starts from 0. So years of experience is 0 number, salary is 1 number. Similarly, you can go reverse also. This is column number -1, this is column number -2. Okay, so x is nothing but your years of experience input, y is nothing but salary output. Then dataset dot allocation, in bracket we are using two values. Before comma is nothing but rows, and after comma we are using columns. So colon indicates all. In Python, colon is used to get all the values, so all rows and all the columns till -1 means last column. We will not consider this last column, that's why it is colon underscore -1. We will cover everything in Python separate course, which is Python programming. I will go cover everything in detail in that. Then y is equal to dataset dot iLocation colon comma 1 dot values. So y is nothing but your output. Y is your output value, and this 1 indicates column number 1. That means first x is nothing but your input till -1. So we will not consider this column. So all the values till -1 is nothing but your x input, and all the rows and column number 1 is your output. So this is a different ways to write the code, to write the program. Here you can write all the rows comma 0 also. 0 indicates column number 1, and 1 indicates column number second, means second column. This is first column, this is second column. So we can write in different way. It is not necessary that every time you write in same way. Then third step is splitting the data set into training set and testing set. Splitting the data set into training and testing. So for that we are using this train underscore test underscore split function. The inbuilt function, we call it as a class, and the library we are using is from sklearn dot. So sklearn dot model underscore selection. These are inbuilt things, and we are dividing our data set into training and testing. So here we will divide this data set into two different things. The first is training and second is testing. Since we are training our machine, so we have to provide some data to the machine. For example, here if I provide this data to the machine, 2.2 years of experience, the person should get 39,891 salary. For 3 years of experience, the person should get 60,150 salary, and so on. So based on previously learned things, the machine can predict for the new thing. So this is the logic behind this. So out of 30 rows, here either you can give 20 rows, 20 data, 20 rows data as a training, and you can keep 10 rows data for the testing part, or you can give 25 data, 25 rows data to the training and 5 rows data for the testing. It depends on how you want to develop, how much you want to provide as a input, and you let the machine decide. So better you give more data for the training purpose, for the training part, and keep less data for the testing part, so that machine can learn better. For example, if two people are moving from one place to another place, so if you want to generate the accurate result, you provide the data for multiple people, more than two people, you provide data of 10 people, so that for 11 person machine will predict correctly, instead of providing two people data. Like this, the same concept we are using here. Then next is the part of training. So here I am using from sklearn.linear underscore model import linear regression class. So again it is inbuilt class linear regression. So to access the element of this class, I am using object regressor, which is equal to linear regression opening and closing bracket, and then I am using dot fit command to train the model. So this object dot fit in bracket x underscore train comma y underscore train. So these are the inputs I am providing while training the machine. So if you can observe here, in case of data set, I'm dividing the data set into 4 parts: X train, Y train, X test, and Y test. Suppose 20 rows I'm providing as a training rows, and remaining 10 rows I'm keeping for the testing. So this initial part of X, this is X, this is Y. So initial part of X is X train, initial part of Y is Y train, this part is X test, and this part is Y test. So I'm giving input to the machine while training is X train and Y train. So if this is the input, this is the output. We are telling the machine that while giving when particular years of experience is 2.9, then you should get 56,642 according to the past data. So this is training. Now testing will do only on X, only on this part, will not give this part while testing, because this is actual, right? So we'll train the machine using X train and Y train, and we'll test on X test only. Then after testing on X test, we'll get some values here, that is predicted values. So then we will compare predicted values and actual values. So Y test and Y prediction. So that we'll compare at last. I hope you got the logic. What we are doing, we are first dividing our data set into 2 parts, input and output. Then again we are dividing the data set into 4 parts: X train, Y train, X test, and Y test. We train the machine using X-train and Y-train, and then we test the machine using X-test. X-test will generate some predicted values here, and then we'll compare predicted values and actual values. So this is how machine learns. And this approach we'll use in almost every algorithm, machine learning algorithm. So coming into the law algorithm again. So using dot fit, we will train the machine, and using dot predict, we will test the machine. So using dot fit command, you can train the machine, and using dot predict command, you can test the machine. Prediction we are performing on X train and Y train as we discussed, and training we are performing on X train and Y train, and prediction we are performing on X test. Prediction result we are storing in Y pred, and actual results are present in Y test. Then coming next is our visualization part. So using matplotlib, so this plt keyword I will use for visualization. This we are using this library for visualization purpose. So plt.scatter, it will create the scattered plot of your data points, which we will show using this red color X and Y train. And then predicted things we will show using this blue color, using dot predict and X train. And then dot title, X label, Y label, and dot show commands we'll use for visualization part. Same thing we will do on test set results. Then I will run this program now. So as you see, the training set results will look like this. Years of experience and salary we are plotting. These red color dots indicates the actual values, and green line indicate the predicted line. So based on the years of experience, it will decide the salary. So these red color dots are nothing but actual values which are present in your data set. And the line is nothing but your predicted line, prediction line, regressor line we call, because we are seeing here a regression algorithm. So as per this graph, when the new employee want to join the company having 5 years of experience, so he should get, according to this line, just you drop one line from x-axis to this line and look at the corresponding salary value for that particular person. So this line is used to predict the salary of according to the years of experience of the employees. So according to this, these points are showing, are they are showing accurate results since they are on this line, and these are the points which are slightly away from these lines. They are not showing that much good results as compared to the prediction, because as per this line, the person having 8.2 years of experience should have salary around 1 lakh, but actually it is more than 1 lakh. It is nearly 1 lakh and 10,000. So this is what we call it as error. So the point should be here according to the regression line. So this is training set results. Similarly, we'll have testing set results also. Testing set results are pretty good as compared to training set. Here we will have less data because we have already kept less data for the testing. It is provided in the algorithm if you look at the algorithm, we have using this train underscore test underscore split, we have divided our data set into 4 variables: x train, x test, y train, y test. And what we are splitting input and output, x and y. We are keeping test size as 1 by 3. That means 75% we are providing for the training part, and 25% we are providing for testing. Random state we are keeping 0. Random state is used for generating random numbers, and this process will run backend. On backend side, we have to assign some number to this random state like 0, 1, according to, it is again decided by that programmer. It is not required to keep particular number, but you have to assign some value so that random state will consider that value for its backend of processing. Then we'll discuss the maths behind this. So initially we have plotted the basic points which are available in the data set. Then as output we got this line, which is regression line. And as you see, this regression line is a linear line having slope y is equal to mx plus c. If you plot, uh, if you map this with our data set, it is y is nothing but your salary, experience is nothing but your x, and c is nothing but your constant b0. So here it b0 or some salary value. Even years of experience is 0, but still that person will get some salary amount. That amount is nothing but this constant value. And as I discussed, according to this line, which is regression line, prediction line, for this particular years of experience, we should have this much amount of salary, but actually it is given more salary. So that is indicated by ya, which is actual output, and this is predicted output. We have to find the difference between these values, and then you have to take sum of the difference, the square of their sums, the differences, and then we have to find its sum. So this is how we use the mathematics here. So using Euclidean distance concept, you have to find the difference between these points as we discussed earlier, and then you have to take the square of that difference, and you have to find the differences of all such points which are present in the data set, and then you have to take the sum. Again you have to do multiple iterations and find such blue lines by changing the test size value, by keeping more test size, by keeping less test size, using trial and error. And then you have to decide the optimum line, the line having minimum sum. That line is nothing but your regression line. So this is how we get finally the regression line, which is optimum line. That line contains the maximum points, data points. That is nothing but your regression line. I hope you got this concept. We will discuss each and every algorithm in detail in our separate machine learning course, as well as we will discuss this machine learning concept in our data science course. So online data science course is available, in which we learn machine learning. Then we'll discuss W in detail, SQL for data science, and mathematics involved in the data science. We'll discuss everything in the data science course. Just you visit on Electron ITS page. The online courses available at Electron ITS are data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence and deep learning, natural language processing. We have recently launched VLSI, advanced VLSI courses, Internet of Things, which is hardware based course. Then there is separate course on business intelligence. So through tool, mostly we will cover TableU, but uh, recent tools are also available. We'll cover that tools separately, like ClickSense and Power BI. Then there is separate course on data analytics where we'll focus on Excel, advanced Excel, Oracle, as well as business intelligence and digital image processing. These are courses available at Electron ITS. there is webinar on VLSI design, which is on 3rd of May at 2 p.m. You can register on mention email ID or Electron ITS Facebook page. Just visit our website and like our Facebook page and share your feedback. Thank you.